The Woods Group.
Just saying that.
Hi, it's Lori and Becky with NB Home Gals at 3 Max River Cities. We're here with our buddy Matt again, and we're in the final process, and today we're going to talk about clear to close.
So that's what happens right before we get to the closing table, and it's our last hurdle. So what does it mean, Matt?
It means you're done.
Yay!
Yeah, so clear to close is kind of the, we'll call it the you win, or we're finished, or congratulations, or
Pop
breathe
the
easy,
champagne.
all
All the
those.
hurdles have been had.
Exactly.
Yeah, so 7 to 10 days from closing, there are some things that will start to happen. I would say the number one thing that I would tell home buyers and agents in this time frame is response time, response time, response time.
Yes, you're busy, but you need
Yes.
this information.
More than ever. I mean, it's time is of the essence.
Yes,
And very important.
And if you don't respond to them, we might call you and say, hey, we heard they need a little documentation.
I'll
from
swing by
you."
in 15 minutes and pick that up.
And it's all for your protection because you're busy packing those boxes and we don't want to delay where you're going to unpack those boxes.
Yeah, so we try not to bother borrowers and agents in that 7 to 10 days, but inevitably there are some things that we have to do. One of those is the preliminary CD, so a closing disclosure. It's your final closing statement. We typically will send that out 7 to 10 days from closing.
Which is
That
awesome.
document has to be signed at least 3 days before closing. We like it 5 to 7, just because it gives us some breathing room. That sets in place some communication between us and title, and we loop several parties in. So just know that as we're inching closer and closer to the finish line, we have a legal team that's involved in drawing up documents. We have the title company that's involved in helping us balance the transaction. We have our underwriter that is involved in giving us that final stamp of approval and clear to close. And so we are coordinating 3, 4, 5 different parties at one time in those final 7 to 10 days. And so we just ask that borrowers would be responsive. We will do our best to explain why it is that we would need something if we do.
And that's very common, that documents can be requested all the way up until that point. So.
Yeah, we try to lump our document requests into a couple of key points throughout the transaction, but especially if you've got a client that's possibly selling a home in order to purchase another home, or receiving a gift, or doing some things as we get closer to that transaction, it requires that we go and document whatever it is that's happening.
Right.
So we will get that information out, and we'll communicate either by email or phone. If we're communicating by email, we get this question, why don't you just call me? Sometimes we're needing all of those parties to see what's going on.
Right.
And so it has nothing to do with us not wanting to talk on the phone, and everything
Everybody
to do
needs to
with
be on copy.
making sure that everybody
Yes.
is up to speed with where we are in the transaction. But
Time is of the essence.
Yes.
what
That's
clear to close
really
means
crucial.
that we are then, as the lender, allowed to send documents to the title company. And that's the big loan package
That you'll
we'll
sign with us at the closing table.
Yeah. And then we're usually wrapping things up. Our goal is that the final 3 to 4 days leading up to closing, once we receive clear to close, everybody is sitting and waiting for closing,
Right.
and breathing easy.
Knowing all those numbers. And
Yep.
Yeah,
Perfect.
not too much stress.
Yes,
We
absolutely.
like that. And we like working with lenders that provide that too. So
Yeah.
we thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Appreciate it.